Welcome to quiz number 2 of the Azure Administrator VM Deployments Admin. I'm an Azure Administrator as well as an Azure Solutions Architect. Okay, welcome to set 2 of the Azure Administrator practice questions. We're just going to get right into the questions. All right. So you're leaning back in your chair at work, wondering where Pam has been. You have not seen her for 2 days. Then there's a knock on their door. Did you miss me? Pam says. You reply that explains it. You have been gone. Pam, what do you mean? You say, you never mind. What's going on? Pam, well, Tom asked me to delete a VM and accidentally deleted the VM name Chim Chim. I need to recover it, but not sure of the steps. You. If I recall, Chim Chim was an availability set, so that makes it a little different. All right, so there are 3 choices you need to pick here. In the real exam, they may or may not ask you to put them in the correct order, kind of like you slide them over. But here we just need to check them. So I'll give you a few seconds to look over the options, and then we'll go ahead and I'll pick the ones that I think are correct. Okay, let's see here. We want to go and select the restore point for Chim Chim from the recovery storage vault. I like that one. We cannot choose create a virtual machine because of this is an availability set. So, boom. Select restore type to restore disks. I like that. We have to choose, since we didn't choose this one, we have to choose disks. All right, and select deploy from template, or we need to choose one more. This doesn't make any sense if we choose this one. And add a new disk does not make any sense if we choose this one. So that leaves this one. I like it. All right, moving on to number 2. This is a yes/no question. You receive a message from Azure letting you know that VM Racer X will be affected by maintenance. So you ask Pam to move the VM to another host. Pam does the following. From the deploy blade, she clicks redeploy. So did Pam do good or did Pam do bad? Pam must have slept at Holiday Inn last night because she is correct. All right, number 3. You are sitting at home at your desk drinking a White Russian while browsing the Microsoft Azure forum and come by a question. I have a Linux VM in Azure and want to monitor the metrics and logs of the VM, but brand new to Azure. If someone can point me in the correct direction, that'd be great. You suggest Congo database. Don't think so. Add the VM to Security Center. Doesn't sound great, but let's look at the other choices. Install the Azure Diagnostics extension. So far, that's the best one. Configure the VM to send to a storage group. No. I'm going to go with... Well, maybe I should wait. Did I wait yet on this one? I don't remember. I'm going to wait another 5 seconds. I'm going to go with install the Azure Diagnostics extension. All right, question 4. This is as I mentioned in the very first set, it's a good possibility. You may have questions on the exam that give you scenarios, and they supply a different resolution to each scenario, and you say yes or no. So this follows in that scenario here. You receive a message from Azure letting you know that VM Racer X will be affected by maintenance. So you ask Pan to move the VM to another host. Pan does the following. Moves the VM to another resource group. Well, it's possible that both click and redeploy and moving to a resource group also moves the VM to another host. But I'm going to say no, she's not correct. So I believe that's to be the correct. And about the only way I think of you can do it. All right. Number 5. You receive a message from Azure letting you know that VM Racer X will be affected by maintenance. So you ask Pan to move the VM to another host. Pan does the following. Deallocates the VM. If you're brand new to this, you might not know what deallocate means, but it's basically turning the VM off at the portal. So going to the VM's blade and clicking stop. That deallocates it. That also stops the billing of the compute costs. Still going to be charged for storage costs, but the main cost of the VM stops being billed. So it's a great thing to do in your own lab environment. All right, so I'll give you a couple seconds here to think about the correct answer. I'll give you a hint. It's scary. The correct answer is scary. Something Casper the Ghost might say. If you click boo, you are correct. All right, number 6. Your boss, Tom, calls and says, the VM that we have shut down for the last few months, well, someone deleted it. Someone deleted it. Can you store it for me? You need to pick 2 answers. So our choices are select the most recent application consistent restore point, select the most recent crash consistent restore point, restore the VM by choosing create a new VM, restore the VM disk and choose redeploy. Give you a couple seconds here. Okay, I'm going to go with crash consistent restore point and choose, it says to pick 2, but I only pick 1. So you need to pick these 2. I'm going to fix that on my quiz here, but you need to pick this one and this one. So I'll pick that one for now. I might get this question wrong because of the scoring, but it's going to be these 2, I believe. All right. Question 7. It's not a good day for Linux VMs. You receive an email on your PC running Windows 10 Enterprise Workstation. The email informs you the Linux VM named Trixie is down, and you decide you need to perform a remote management session as soon as you can. So you... I should say, at the end of this, obviously we score the questions, and then you go in a little more deeper analysis of the answers. So anyway, so the email informs you from the remote management session as you can. So you connect your Trixie via RDP, connect your Trixie using SSH and the Windows subsystem for Linux, use Hyper-V console. Well, we know that's not correct because that's not available in Azure. Connect your Trixie by using SSH. Well, if you know anything at all about Linux, RDP is out of the question. And if you know anything about Azure, you know Hyper-V is not available. So it comes down to these 2. Both are valid reasons or solutions, but I'm going to go with connect your Trixie by using SSH and Azure Cloud Shell. All right. Because I think it's the better answer. You recently watched the ARM template series by the Azure guy on YouTube. Highly recommend it. As a result of this, you have created some ARM templates at Mach 5 Motors. For those of you that didn't watch the first video, Mach 5 Motors is where you work. And are becoming known, problem there, as a template person. So it's no surprise you're asked the following question during a meeting. This is from another colleague. I have an ARM template created from using the automatic script option when I create a single VM. I would like to use this template for other deployments. However, I want all the resources in the resource group to be in the same location. Can and how I do this? Well, yes, you can. And here's our choices. Edit the parameters file and add a new parameter. Name location with type setting of the string with the default. That looks pretty good. Use Azure portal and create a resource group in the desired region and with the desired name. When you deploy the template, use the new, and there's a name in the commandlet. Edit the template file and update each location parameter with the value, blah, blah, blah. There's probably should be an end parenthesis on both of these. So just assume that's there. All right, give you a few seconds to decide. If you don't know the answer, I do have a template series, and it answers this very question. We're going to go with edit the template file. All right, it's Pam time. Pam comes to you and says, Tom, our boss, wants me to schedule the VMs in development to auto start at 7 and auto shut down at 7 p.m. I told Tom this can be done, but not sure how. You tell Pam. This is a somewhat realistic situation. You want, VMs cost money, so especially with development, if people aren't using them, it's nice to have them auto start and auto start at a certain time. So you tell Tom it cannot be done. That's not true. Use Azure auto shutdown feature. Create a runbook. Use desired state configuration. Give you a few seconds here. All right. This feature does exist. This is not a very good option. So I'm going to go create a runbook. All right, last question. You are creating an ARM template to deploy 4 Linux VMs. The VMs will be running version 18.04 of Ubuntu. I can't say this very well. Ubuntu server. You need to make sure the VM image can be automatically updated after initial deployment, and to use an image from the Azure Marketplace. Which 2 ARM parameters do you need to configure? This is a difficult question. You'd really have to be quite familiar with making ARM templates to deploy virtual machines. But give you a few seconds to think about it. Okay. I know one of the answers is definitely SKU. The other one might be version or offer, and I seriously do not know which one it is. Obviously, I do a lot of ARM templates, but VMs are generally handled by a different group where I work. I'm going to go with offer because that just sounds right. All right, sometimes you have to go have trust in your knowledge and your gut based on the knowledge you have, so I'm going with those 2. I feel pretty good about the other answers I did, though. All right, so let's go ahead and click on submit. See how we did. View results. 90%. You might have gotten not 100% because of the one question that wanted 2 replies, but only did 1. But anyway, let's see where we're at. All right, so the first question was about, looks like, a VM was deleted. That was in an availability set. And we went select the restore point for ChimChim from the cursor's vault, correct? Looks like we got this answer right. Restore from the disk creation table, and then deploy, blah, blah, blah. So let's see. It says restore VM in availability set. When restoring a VM from the portal, there's no option to choose an availability set. A restore VM doesn't have an availability set. If you choose the restore disk option, then you can specify an availability set when you create a VM from the disk using the provided template or PowerShell. So let's click on this link here. And this link gives you all kinds of different scenarios on restore options. But what I find the best part, this whole document's great. You know, I mean, you can't go wrong with reading it, taking the time to read it. But I'm going to scroll down. Give me a second. I'm getting there. To this part here. I think this part is quite valuable information to have, especially linked or bookmarked. But during disaster, single domain, bare metal restore. There we go. This is what we're looking for in our case. Restore VM and availability set. When restoring a VM from the portal, there's no option to choose. A restore VM doesn't have an availability set. If you choose restore this option, you can specify an availability set when you create a VM from the disk using provided template or PowerShell. So basically what I typed in there. But yeah, here's a great link that I would make yourself so much familiar with all these options when you walked in, especially bare metal. Think about that. Maybe ask you something about SQL here. I'd probably remember something about that. So let's go back. All right. Number 2. This is about VM being maintenance mode. You got to move to another host. You're going to pick the first one. We got that one right, so good for us. When you redeploy a VM, Azure will shut down the VM, move the VM to a new node within Azure infrastructure, and then power back on. And here's another link for us. Just letting you know when you actually redeploy a VM, you're going to lose its IP address. And I think up here it might tell us exactly when you deploy a VM. Yeah, here we go. So basically just what I wrote in our, but here's a link to what I mentioned. All right. All right, so number 3, you're sitting at home, having a drink, and you want to do something about metrics and logs, and you install this connection. And here's just a little link about tutorial monitor. All right, so here's the same question as number 2. We already went over the correct answer, so this must be the wrong answer. She is not correct, so very good for us. Oh. It looks like I see a wrong one. You see that? Here we go with the same question again. She's not correct. Here's one supposedly you might have got wrong. I'll pick 2 answers, and this is the other correct answer. So anyway, let's look at it. Your boss Tom calls and says, "VM, you have shut down for the last few months. Will someone delete it? Can you store it for me?" Pick 2 answers. We picked this one, which is obviously one of the marked correct answers, because this is where I put the explanation. So this is also correct. So you want to pick an application consistent. I don't think that's, let's see what it says here. Yeah, I think this really should be crash consistent restore point. But let's see what we got here. Crash consistent restore point is not the best option because it's not guaranteed the VM will boot. That is correct. Or data will not be lost. Or data that is not guaranteed data won't be lost. However, it's the only option when the VM is turned off. When the backup is running, you should choose create a new VM. Azure backup allows you to store just a disk, the entire VM, or just some files. So yes, the correct answer here is this one and this one. Application consistent is obviously a better choice. It's the only thing that guarantees a successful restore. But this option is not available when the VM has been shut down, when the backup was occurring. The only backup type that's available when the VM was shut down while the backup was performing is a crash consistent. So these 2. All right. It's not a good day for Linux VMs. You need to perform a remote management session. So correct answer here was the one we picked. So SSH is the default protocol for Linux server. Azure Cloud Shell gives you access to SSH and other Azure management tools. Windows subsystem for Linux is available, and so it's a real thing. It's available on Windows Enterprise, which we're using, and allows you to run native Linux commands directly in Windows. So why wasn't this the correct answer? Well, it's not installed by default, and since time is important, you need to perform as soon as you can. Windows subsystem is also included Windows Pro and Education. All right. Number 8. Ooh, we got that one right too. This is something about working up Mark V motors. This is where the employees ask you a question about the resource group, and you choose this one here. The resource group functions get the resource group object that will be used to deploy the templates. So let's go down to number 9. I like this question. This is actually something I had to do where I work. So we want to create a runbook. Well, what's a runbook, you might ask? Well, a runbook allows you to write PowerShell or Perl scripts and have them run on a schedule. Auto shutdown only shuts down a VM, does not start it. So that's why this is not a great answer, because it only does a shutdown. DCS, or desired state configuration, is a powerful PowerShell feature that prevents configured VMs from becoming different from each other. For example, maybe you got a web farm, and you want to make sure all the same version DLLs are on the same machines or aren't missing. Desired state configuration would do that. So, I'm going to go check something. I don't think it's PowerShell. I think it's PowerShell and Python, not Perl. Hold on. Let me check. Yes, it is Python. When I wrote that answer, I was probably thinking Python, but I wrote Perl. Yeah. I know less Perl than I know Python, so I don't know. I'm not very good at Python. So anyway, so yes, that should be Python there. Let's go to number 10. This is where we want to create an ARM template with our 4 VMs, and then offer and SKU. So offer was the correct answer. SKU and offer are the correct answers. The SKU represents the release version of the OS. So in this case, it would be 18.04 LTS. The offer is the name of the image to be used. In this case, Ubuntu server. So, all right. So this is, I think, some excellent 20 questions. I hope you learned something, and hope you feel more prepared for the exam. And there'll be more practice questions coming. So good luck.